What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 65 of The Rise to Glory, here with Gibraltar Apex, and today I have for you guys a Champions League doubleheader. We are going to be taking on Juventus at home, and then we're going to be taking on Atletico Madrid at home. Two big games for us. I thought we'd do a doubleheader, because they're two teams that we've not met before in Europe. Of course, we have met Juventus' Italian counterparts in AC Milan, but I don't think we've played a Spanish team before in a competitive game, so this is a landmark in itself, I guess, a little bit, because Gibraltar, you know, it's geographically close to Spain. There's a little bit of perhaps a rivalry there between ourselves and Atletico Madrid, and, well, I'd like to beat them. So the first game we've got is against Juventus. I'm not going to spend too much time talking. There's not been any game since the last episode of real significance. There was one league game which we won. Just a quick look at Juventus' squad. Dybala is their key man. Just an absolutely insane player. A little bit terrified about playing this team, if I'm honest. I look through this Juventus side. They've got a few kind of virtual players, but they've got players like Gabbiadini here, who's just an insane Italian striker. They've got good wing backs. They've got a few nice little regens when I was looking through. It's not going to be an easy game today. They've got Lucas Evangelista, the Brazilian. He was a really good player a few FMs ago. I don't know if he's as good as he was. He looks pretty good here, the 28-year-old. But yeah, not going to be an easy game for us. They've got some very good players, particularly in the attacking department. They've also got players like Machaccio, and they've also got, if we look here, Murillo, who we just looked through. So yeah, they've got the whole package, really. It's not going to be an easy game for us. In terms of Juventus and how they've been doing, if we just have a look. Oh, there's no league history because I've not got Italy loaded. If I go to competitions, can I still look at Serie A winners? They've not won the Champions League. I know what I can do. I can go to Serie A here and we can look. So actually, you can see Juventus, they've been on a really, really dominant streak for a number of years. But actually, last year, AC Milan overthrew them. AC Milan, of course, a team who we met last year, and we actually got a draw against them. So who knows? Maybe we can cause an upset today. Not going to be an easy game. Let's get into it. Going to sort out our team selection for today's game. Obviously, we're against the odds here. In terms of the team, a few changes. Barr has to give up his goalkeeper position because of his damaged shoulder injury he got last game. I do believe he'll be back for the Atletico Madrid game, as that match isn't for a little while. There's an international break coming up, and as a result, I think he's got about 3 weeks to recover, which I think is going to be enough time. I guess we'll find out, won't we, by the end of this episode when we take on Atletico Madrid. In terms of the defence, it's perhaps the strongest defence we could have, with the exception of the left-back position. Unfortunately for us, Jay Marriott still out injured. 7 days to 2 weeks. Again, a player who will be back for the Atletico game. So in the defence, we have Molesworth, the English left-back from Newcastle, who is on loan. We then have Tom Lees, who's been a good player so far, really. A 7.37 average rating for him in the Champions League. Not too shabby at all. To his right, we have Alan Medina, who I believe will have the captain's armband today, because Benyu is out suspended. Right back, we go with the Ginger Ninja, that is Evans. A player who, I don't know, I don't feel like he gets the praise he deserves. He's been a great player for us over the last 2 years, and he's now entering his third season at the club. You know, he's a player who I brought in, and originally I thought he was going to play centre-back, but he's really kind of held down the right-back position. Perhaps not the best right-back going forward, but he's a good player to have. He can play a variety of positions, and he's kind of made that right-back position his own, with Putnam leaving us, of course, at the kind of start of last season. Anyway, in left midfield, we have Paul Smith, the Australian, 19 years old. His contract runs until 2027, which is, well, 4 years away, and he also has a clause in his contract which means we can extend his contract by 3 years when there's less than 2 years left to run on it, which is nice. And I'll tell you why it's nice, because there's a lot of teams interested in him, and, well, I'm asking for 40 million. I doubt we're actually going to get that kind of money for him. Anything over kind of 20, I'd probably be like chuffed to bits with. We'll see. I had bids in the summer of last year from teams like PSG, and they weren't meeting really his valuation of him, so you never know what might happen there. In defensive mid for today's game, we actually go with Jeremy Braun, a player who, he's been a player who's not really played that much regular first-team football. His contract runs out at the end of next year, or, yeah, the end of this season, but next year. If we look at him, you can see he's played a few games for us. When he's played well. Today he slots into the team just because of some suspensions and injuries in the midfield. We then have to his right Bouchard, the Canadian, just a fantastic player, this guy. Such a good midfielder. Still developing, 19 years old, had some interest in him. You can see could improve. He's improved a lot in the last 2 months. He's professional, good decision making. His decision making actually is incredible for a player of his age at 17. That's really good. Their natural fitness and stamina mean he's just a regular kind of part of our centre mid kind of position. And, well, simply put, he's just a bloody good player, and I'm hoping we can keep hold of him. He also has a clause similar to Smith where we can extend his contract by 3 years. Anyway, right mid, we have Gimo Lourenco II, the Mozambican. Then up front, we go with Jackson, who, of course, is the American international, who's done so well in the Champions League so far. Got 10 goals during our qualifying campaign. And alongside him, the one, the only Mark Stewart, a player who has joined us last year for a record fee. He's developed a lot. At the moment, he's a little bit unhappy. Himself and Gary, they both want to move to bigger teams. And I've basically rejected a number of offers for them. I've said, you're not going anywhere. And they wanted me to strengthen the team. And, well, apparently the signings I made weren't up to their standards. And as a result, they're both unhappy kind of with the current club situation. But either way, they're both at the club, Gary and Stuart. And they're here for a long time if their contracts are kind of kept to, which is what I'm hoping to do with them at least. Anyway, let's submit our team for today's game. Going to be a tricky game. Braun lacking a little bit of match fitness in the centre mid position. But I'm hoping we can do a half-decent job here. It's going to be a hard game. We are at home against Juventus. I mentioned last episode, really, I'd like to try and do as well as we did last year. Last year in the Champions League, 2 draws against West Ham and AC Milan. If we could win a game, fantastic. If we could get 2 draws, I'd probably take that too. Being realistic, I do feel like we overperformed a little bit last year, if I'm honest. And, well, I'd take a draw in any of our games, really. That would be beyond my expectations, but something I'd be pretty pleased with. We'll have to see how we get on here. They've got so many good players. They've got Bazua, who, of course, was part of our Liverpool save back in FM16, which was this year's FM. That feels like a lifetime ago. That was a long time ago, that Liverpool save. But interesting to see Bazua there in their midfield. Hopefully, he won't do too much for Juventus here. Looking at the stats early on, Juve, they've not had a shot yet. I say that, and they're now coming forward with the ball. That's like me cursing it, isn't it? Paul Smith, is he just giving away a penalty, or is it a free kick? I think it's a free kick. It's right on the edge. Oh, he's been given a red card. He's been given a red... Well, we have serious discipline issues, and I don't know who to point the finger at. I don't know who to blame for them, but it only ever seems to happen in Europe, and I don't know if it's a case of our players are playing out of their depth, and as a result, they just kind of naturally foul players, like, inexplicably. But we've gone down a man here after 20 minutes. That is so annoying. And I mean, if they score now, it's going to be such a kick in the teeth. Lourenco's broken a finger. He's not a goalkeeper. He can play on. Unfortunately, we might wish he was in goal. Rodriguez has got a goal for Juventus. Oh, this is not what I want. I'm going to take him off and bring on McVitie. Hopefully, McVitie, he can bring the digestives, I guess, and hopefully bring some sugary snacks onto the pitch for the players to have, because they're going to need them. This is going to be a lot of running around. There is going to be a lot of energy used up as we chase this game now against Juventus. We're down a man. 20 minutes gone, we're 1-0 down. I mean, this is not how I wanted this game to play. This is not what I envisaged, I mean, it's still only 1-0, I guess, is the saving grace right now. But Paul Smith, such an intelligent player, a player who, as well as being wanted by the likes of PSG, is actually wanted by Juventus. I don't know if that's a sign. He's said to the Juve fans, sign me, I'm going to get sent off so I don't score against you. I mean, they don't really need his help. They've got Dybala up front, who's just scored again. I feel like this Juventus team is basically copying my Liverpool team. You'll notice we have now got it on direct to camera. I would like to know what you think about playing on direct to camera. I quite like it from the perspective of, I think it looks nice for you guys watching, I guess. Instead of having the close camera, we get different camera angles for every goal. So it makes it a little bit less repetitive. At the same time, sometimes the angles they choose are a little bit bizarre. I might switch back. I've not really made up my mind. I'm gonna sit on it and think about it. I feel like with close camera, you can always see a goal clearly. But I don't know. There's something about direct to camera which is a little bit exciting. Either way, we're 3-0 down here. I really don't want a repeat of what happened. Oh, in fact, no, it's only 2-0. It's only 2-0, Jack. Did I say 3-1 as well? I'm going crazy. It's the stress of the job. I expect a much better showing from you. Look at that. Some are fired up, some losing confidence. I mean, if you're losing confidence after that team talk, don't really blame you. But at the same time, it's not been that great, boys. Just being realistic here. Anyway, we'll see how we get on. That's a nice tackle. But now Guichard bringing the ball inside from that right-hand side. Can we stop him bringing it in? Stutaro out with Alexandro. Can he whip in a ball? He can. Let's not give away a penalty here. McVitie closing him down. Bouchard, nice play. Now can we counter? Run Jackson. I mean, he's got 5 men around him. If he holds up the ball there, which he has, that's incredible. Bouchard, out to Stewart. I mean, go on, boys. Go on. Stewart, running wide. Molesworth, back post. Jackson, oh, he's offside. He scored, but it's offside. I mean, that was not a bad goal, considering we're a man down here. Can't complain about that. And actually, we're on the attack again here. Jackson gets to that. Murillo heads it, but McVitie's there. Unfortunately, he can't pick out a pass. I mean, it's a little bit difficult to pick out a pass, I guess, when you've only got 2 men to aim for, really. One is the opposite winger, and the other is the lone striker who has little to no ability in the air. We really have been screwed by the red card, and it's going to be frustrating because it does also mean we're without Smith for the game against Atletico Madrid. That said, at the moment it's a resilient display. Even at 3-0, I feel like we've been fairly resilient here. Unfortunately, I mean, it's little to no consolation because I wanted to try and get some points. See, this is the issue with this camera. It doesn't work. I've decided. I've made my decision. Close camera is the way to go, so you can actually see the goals actually going, because that happens too often. Either way, though, 65 minutes gone, 3-0 down. A man down. I mean, part of me goes, you should make some subs, Jack. The other part of me goes, not going to really change a lot at this point. This game's over. It's been over really since the red card. That completely screwed us. I think I might take off Sean Jackson for Diego Costa. Diego Costa did get a goal in the lone league game between last and this episode. It was a 3-0 win, or was it a 2-0? It was a win against Europa Points. And how has that gone in? How has that trickled in so slowly in 2D? How does this go in 3D? Are you ready for this? Oh, it doesn't even hit the back of the net. No, it does. Okay, I'm a liar. I mean, that's just disappointing to concede from a set piece, really. Unfortunately, though, this has just been a disappointing match from start to finish, I think it's fair to say. It's going to end here 4-0. I guess it could be worse, maybe. I mean, I'm going to tell the players that was awful. Don't care about their feelings. They actually agree with me somewhat surprisingly. Smith getting sent off really screwed us. Worth noting, the other game in our group, Atletico Madrid beat Galatasaray 5-1. We lost, was it 2-0 to Galatasaray? So that doesn't, bode well, I guess, for our chances against Atletico Madrid. But we'll do our best against them. Anyway, looking at our transfers here. Not transfers, that's not what I want to look at. What do I want to look at? Fixtures. My brain just not with it today. That Europa Point game I mentioned, it was 2-0. But Diego Costa did get a goal. That was the first game of the season league-wise. And that was the first win that we've got. We have got, as I mentioned, a little bit of a break now until the Atletico Madrid game. It's going to be 2 weeks, or 3 weeks even. So chance for players to get back their fitness. Chance for players to think about the decisions they made in that last game. I'm looking at you, Smith, although to be honest, you're not going to be available for that game, so I guess you thinking about it doesn't really matter. But yeah, we're going to come back for that game. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode so far. If you have, cheeky reminder right now, leave a like, go down, leave a comment, leave a score prediction for the Atletico Madrid game. And yeah, I will be back in just a second with the second game of this live com. So we're back, guys, and I have a feeling tonight is the night we win a Champions League group stage game. I believe, I dream. Maybe it's possible. Looking at the results since the last episode, we played 2. We won 7-0 against St. Joseph's. Mark Stewart grabbing 4. We also beat Gibraltar Lions 3-0. A variety of goal scorers there, but worth noting, Nicholas Mohammed went off injured, and it was a bad injury, calf strain. Going to miss this game. Been a useful player for us, Nicholas Mohammed, to be honest, the Ghanaian. So we are going to miss him. Looking at our team, we of course have a few players missing. Most notably, perhaps, is Paul Smith, through suspension, got sent off in the Juventus game 2 minutes ago. Not very happy about that still. I'm still a little bit baffled by the fact he made the tackle he did. I guess, in some good news, I guess you could argue, he got 2 goals in our game against St. Joseph's, and he also got his first ever goal for the Australia national team. I mean, I don't know if that's much of a consolation to me, but I guess it's a sign of progress for him as a player. In terms of the rest of our team, Gima Lorenko is away on international duty. I'm not sure what international tournament he is playing in. I can only assume it's like African Cup of Nations qualifiers. It is. Okay, they're playing in... Okay, well, I can't even argue then. They've got qualifiers. So anyway, he's unavailable. which is a bit of a shame. I don't think we have any other players away on international duty, so I guess that's something. In terms of the team for today's game, few changes. Barr reclaims his spot in goal. That is fantastic news. Marriott comes back into the squad at left back. Not 100% fit going into today's game. 93% condition, 84% match sharpness, but not a bad position to be in, and he is a welcome addition back to our side. Medina's back at full fitness alongside Leeds, and we have Evans at right back. So for the first time pretty much all year, our back five is our strongest five, which is kind of nice. Looking slightly higher up the pitch, left mid Braun comes into the squad. That is with Smith's suspension. Good to see him reclaiming a spot in the side. Been out injured, of course. We then have Benyu playing centre mid, defend the Zimbabwean, not involved in African Cup of Nations or whatever competition it is that Lourenco II's involved in, so he keeps his spot in the side. Joe Bouchard, Canadian, still in the side, still doing well for us, the 19-year-old. We've got Mick Vitti as well playing on the right with Lourenco being out. He comes into the side. This is a chance for Aaron to show us what he's made of. You know, he's not had that many starts with us so far. We only brought him in for £190,000, so he was a relatively cheap signing. But I'd still like to see him have an impact in this game if he can. And then up front for this game, we are of course going to go with both Stewart and Jackson. Stewart, as I mentioned, getting 4 goals against St Joseph's in the league. Hopefully he can carry forward that form. And Sean Jackson's been doing pretty well for us as well as of late. So yeah, let's submit our team for today's game. Worth noting, Evans at right back struggling a little bit with fitness. I'm hoping that's not going to be a major problem for him. But other than that, I mean, we look fairly good now. You know, the injuries are starting to subside, which is nice. We've got players slowly coming back into the team. Just a quick look at the Atletico Madrid side. We'll have a quick flick through. They've got Gabriel Barbosa. I noticed they've also still got Griezmann. They've also got Jimenez there, or Jimenez. I'm not sure how you actually pronounce his name. They've got Jack Grealish. Little bit of a bizarre one. I wonder how much they bought him for from Villa. Okay, they bought him from Norwich City. I mean, looking at it here, Jack Grealish has done the rounds. He moves every 2 years somewhere. Just happens to be that he's moved to Atletico Madrid this year. Anyway, we'll continue to flick through their team. Griezmann, as I mentioned, still in the side. 32 years old now, so he's getting on a little bit. Also got Koke there. The centre mid doesn't look like he's declined much as a footballer. Lazar as well. They've got some pretty old players as well as some pretty decent young regents, including this guy. French national. Looks pretty good up for it. I mean, better than any of our players. They've also kept Jan Oblak in goal. So yeah, that's a bit about their team and what they've got going on. Going to leave my opposition instructions to my assistant, and I'm hoping that today we can have a good game. Today we improve as a club. Today, you know, we prove the doubters wrong. You know, we're not expected to win this game, but we're at home. And, well, it'd be nice to at least give them a good game. I mean, I guess we gave Galatasaray a decent run for their money in the 2-0 defeat last episode, but I mean, the first game of this episode, definitely one to forget. That red card after, what was it, 12 minutes? I mean, we were never going to be giving Juventus a game at that point, unfortunately. Anyway, look at the stats here. Fairly even early on, although set piece here hits the post and, well, the rebound goes in. And I've emphasised this point more than once on this save. When you play against these big teams, conceding from set pieces is just one thing you have to avoid at all costs. And, well, it's not taking very long for us to avoid it. Koke whipping the ball in. Lazar, I think he wins the initial header, hits the post, and then he also gets the rebound. Slow reactions by our defenders. Barring goal, just couldn't get up in time. Relatively simple finish for him there. And while Atletico Madrid off to a storming start, of course, as we noted just a second ago, they beat Galatasaray 5-1. They are a very, very good team. This is perhaps I don't want to say this is the toughest group stage game we've got, because to be honest, as odd as it might be, because it shouldn't be possible because of seedings, but just looking through the sides in our group, I do feel like we have perhaps the overall hardest group of all the groups. When I was just looking through them, there isn't a weak team with us. You know, the third seed, sometimes you might look at them and go, oh, they're beatable. I look at our group, and our group's just full of some very, very decent national teams, and, well, we're going to have to be at our best to give them a good game here. They're on the attack. Rabello gets a goal, makes it 2-0. And 16 minutes gone, not what we were looking for here. I think we're going to switch to the 4-4-2 attack. I think, you know what, we've gone 2 goals down. We're playing for pride, really, at this point again. Let's give them a game. Let's go for them. And Jackson bringing the ball forward here, tackled away, swarmed by 3 Atletico players, which is a bit of a worry. But we still do have the ball here. Maybe we can create something. Braun inside to Bouchard. Big ball up to Jackson. Got pace. Stewart's still in the middle, edge of the box. Jackson going to have to pick out an insane pass. He does. McVitie with the shot. And the keeper in the end with a superb save diving down. It was a clear-cut chance for us. McVitie, he hit it low and hard. Jan Oblak, however, he got down to that quick. It was a great save by him. And unfortunately, the goal margin stays at 2. And now Saul bringing the ball forward. Another player who's actually stayed at Atletico on this save. I'm quite pleased to see, actually. They've held on to quite a few of their better players at the start of the save. Because, 9 years in, that isn't always the case. Anyway, Atletico bring the ball forward again. Medina, no nonsense, kicks it out. Although the ball whips it in. And, oh my God, Bar, what are you doing? What are you doing, Bar? I don't want to watch the 3D replay of this. He drops it. Not for the first time in this save. A goalkeeper of ours has just dropped the ball. Oh dear. It hits him on the back of the shins. I don't think I've seen that happen in any of my other saves. I don't think that's happened in the hexagon yet. I don't think that happened in the Liverpool save ever. And it's happened twice in this save. Both times in big European games that we can't afford to drop the ball at the ankles of the opposition. And well, I said before this game that I felt like this was the game. This was the winnable one. That's a funny joke right now, isn't it? Marriott, nice tackle. Benyu clears it up to Stewart. Can we make something happen still? I mean, there's still time. It's still the first half. If we could get a goal, I mean, that would be a consolation, I guess. Benyu kicks it for Jackson. Can you get there? Oblak, quick off the line. The Slovenian goalkeeper, and unfortunately for us, all too aware of the threat that Jackson was presenting. Did very well to come out to it. Now Rebello coming through, smashes it over. That should have been 4-0. Atletico should be high and dry right now. As things stand, however, I was about to say it's going to be 3-0 at half-time. It's not. Oh, okay, maybe it is. A nice save by Bar. Makes up for his previous mistake, well, as much as you can. I mean, I feel like when a keeper makes a mistake, like dropping the ball, is any save they make after that actually kind of making up for the mistake? Because I don't think it is. I mean, the damage has been done at that point. The entire course of the game's been changed. So as much as Bar might make 20 saves now, still going to blame him for the defeat. I mean, it was 2-0 at the time of him dropping the ball. But, I mean, it's not great, is it, Bar? Not great. I might switch to the 4-3-2-1. We might... 4-2-3-1, not 4-3-2-1. That would be a weird formation to play. I'm going to make a few changes as well, I think. Jeremy Braun struggled a little bit. So I'm going to play Stewart out of position, but out on the left. I'm going to bring Diego Costa on for Braun. Bouchard's struggling and he's got a booking, so I'm going to give Perez actually what might be his debut. We signed him for a fair bit of money. Bit of a backup, really, but 450,000 paid. Would be nice if in the games where he comes on like this one, if he could have a big impact for us. But yeah, we'll go with a double change for now. I'll get on 2 of our signings that we made this year. I mean, at this point, the game's 3-0. It's probably over. But if we can, go out there, try and get a goal, that is something to aim for. And something to kind of try and do, I guess. But as time ticks away, I mean, it looks less and less likely we'll get a goal. I mean, we've got the ball forward here. McVitie inside to Jackson. Goes out wide to Evans. Evans back to Benyu. Marriott now. Of course, coming back from injury. Can he have an impact on his return? Crosses it in cleared, but only as far as Perez. Back with Marriott. Options in the middle. McVitie and Jackson scores. I mean, we've got the goal we craved. We've got the consolation. The comeback's on. The comeback is on. You've got to believe. Everyone has got to believe. I want everyone who's watching the video right now, I want you to close your eyes and say aloud, I believe. And if you don't do it, if not everyone does it, we're not gonna win this game. We have no chance. I hope you did it. I hope you did it. Right, someone didn't do it because nothing's happening now. And the game's now just going to end really anticlimactically 3-1. That's my prediction, at least. Looks like it is going to be the case. I'm going to make one more change just really quick to give Melvin Thomas like 2 minutes on the pitch. Because why not? Unfortunately, however, we are going to lose the second game of this live comp. It should hopefully stay at 3-0, he says as the ball gets scrambled away. Oh, 3-1 even. We did score. I forgot about that. That was a high point, clearly. But no, 3-1 in this game. I mean, both these games are disappointing. But for quite different reasons. I guess it was quite nice for Diego Costa to play Atletico Madrid thinking about it. But no, both these results are disappointing, perhaps for slightly different reasons. I feel like the Juventus one, disappointing just the way that we got a red card. This game, I don't know. I guess it's disappointing because of the mistake. Maybe I'm expecting a little bit too much again. Really, this year is just about, getting to this stage of the competition regularly. And we are starting to do that, and we are starting to build up a coefficient, which is good for us. Anyway, next game, when am I going to come back? I think I'm going to come back for the Galatasaray match. And the reason I'm going to come back for that one is because Galatasaray was the team we were closest to beating. So we have got a few games between then and now. That game comes at the end of November, so in about a month's time. Hopefully I'll see you guys for that, which will be episode 66. As always, I hope you guys did enjoy this double header live com. If you did, smash the like button. It does help me out. I really do appreciate it, guys. And yeah, thank you for watching. It is me, Jack, and hopefully I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.